So how much you know about your Clarion history? Well, we're not going to actually give you a little bit of a quiz tonight, but we're going to tell you about where you can go to find out about the history of Clarion. And I'm going to also tell you a little bit about what's going on with the Olympics. Because I don't think you're watching it. I don't think anybody is watching it. It's all coming up tonight on Feedback. And welcome to this Tuesday night edition of Feedback. Good evening, I'm Mark Espatakis. As I said, tonight we're going to be talking about a little bit of the history of Clarion. I'm sure you've all heard of, the Historical Society right downtown, but have you ever visited there? Did you ever wonder what's in there? Well, we're going to talk about that tonight. I think it's one of the things that maybe a lot of people don't take part in, and they probably should. So we are going to talk with Lindsley Dunn from the Clarion County, is it Clarion County or Clarion?
Clarion County.
Clarion County Historical Society. That's coming up a little bit later in the show. But first of all, as is my norm, I want to talk to you about what's going on in the world. And the big thing going on in the world is world athleticism. It is the Olympics. The 27th, is it? I don't know. I think it's up in the 20s. But the 27th or 26th Summer Olympics. And it's going on right now in Sydney, Australia. Actually, they might be sleeping right now in Sydney, Australia, but you're probably watching the Olympics. If you flip to the other channel, don't, but if you would see that they're running the Olympic coverage right now. And actually, that's gotten a lot of flack. They're saying, well, NBC's running it on a delay. How are we supposed to watch it? It's not as fun because some other media outlets are telling us what's happening earlier in the day. Well, you can't really hold NBC's feet to the fire on that one because they can't help the time zone in Sydney, Australia. Another thing people have been complaining about for the television coverage, I guess there's been too much profiles of people. Well, isn't that what this is all about? These people aren't stars. They come to this as not stars. So I think it's kind of interesting to learn about these people, to find out what their stories are. So that's my positive spin for you on the Olympics. But as you know, I always have a negative to everything. And so I found a few negatives today. One was actually in Monday's New York Times. There was an article, it was below the fold, but the headline was, "Leery of the Web, Olympic officials set limits on news." Now what this was, they were talking about there's a few athletes who have been writing journals for their local hometown newspapers saying about what's going on at the Olympics, and I think that would be kind of interesting to follow your hometown athlete, to see what they're talking about, what their experiences are, because you might even know that person. Well, Olympic officials said, no, you can't do this. They are not allowing Olympic athletes to write journals and send them via email, via the web, to their local hometown newspapers. I don't know about that. I think that's part of the interesting experience of this, to see it through these people's eyes, because, as I said, these people are generally not world-class athletes. I mean, they are world-class athletes, but they're not world-class athletes that we hear about all the time. So I think that would be a great way to find out about them and what's going on. One of the bad ways to find out about them and what's going on is an article I read in Monday's USA Today. The headline, "Would you like a TV ad with that gold medal?" Apparently McDonald's is going up to the U.S. gold medalists right after they perform and saying, hey, do you want to be in a McDonald's ad? And I guess they have a really quick turnaround time that you could probably see that ad that night or the next day on NBC's Olympic coverage, because they've already booked these in there, and they're just going to use these people who just won a gold medal in their ads. So capitalism invades the Olympics, as we should not be surprised by. I'm not really watching the Olympics, but I generally like to. I watched the opening ceremonies. I thought it was kind of interesting. The people I was watching with thought it was pretty stupid, but I think they don't. When you're watching this, you have to look at the other culture and say, oh, this is a sign of their culture. It's very interesting from that point of view. So I wouldn't say totally tune it out, even though you might know early in the day who won the swimming. Watch them. Support these athletes. Not only support the United States athletes, look at from all these other countries. Look at what they're doing, and go ahead and support it by watching the Olympics. after the show's over today, though. Don't flip over now. Wait till feedback's over. Wait till TV5 News is over. 8:30, go ahead and watch the Olympics for the rest of the evening. But from now until 8:30 and tomorrow from 7 to 8:30, stay on TV5. So that's what I'd say about the Olympics for you tonight. Right now what we're going to do is take a break, and when we come back we're going to talk with Lindsley Dunn from the Clarion and Historical Society, talking about a great place to go and visit, learn about Clarion's history. That's after this.
Well, I thought you'd be home a couple of hours ago, and I put everything away, so I did...
What is this? Pizza? What, pizza?
If you had just called me, I would have known what...
Dinner ready is pizza.
I didn't know you'd be so late.
Let me ask you something. Is it too much to have dinner waiting when I go home?
Please don't be so loud.
Don't tell me what to do! You shut up!
I thought you'd be home.
I can get pizza at work!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I imagine.
I'll fix you something now.
Better.
Let go of me!
Get in the kitchen!
No!
Well, it hurts! Do you want to see what hurts? That's what hurts! That's what hurts! Now get up and clean up this mess! Shut up!
I'll be quiet. Oh, please.
For information, call 1-800-END-ABUSE.
Maybe you have what it takes to be one of us. The few, the proud, and the Reeds.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'm Mark Espadakis. As I said, tonight we're going to be talking about the history of Clarion and where you can go and learn more about the history of Clarion. And joining us here tonight is Lindsley Dunn from the Historical Society. Thank you for coming out and joining us tonight.
Very glad to be here.
So, the Historical Society, for those of us, now I know where it is, of course, because I'm an informed person, but
Right.
tell us where it is for those of us out there who may not know where it is.
Well,
The Historical Society is located on the lower side of the park,
Okay.
just below the courthouse, downtown
Okay.
Clarion.
And so is it distinguished? We have a sign out there or something?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a sign right at the moment. That's been vandalized a couple times this last year,
geez.
so we've been having problems. But it's the only red brick house on the lower side of the park.
Okay.
We're in the process of having some renovations done, and looks like it's in tip-top shape.
So what can we find? What can we see when we walk into the building? What are we going to find there?
Well, first of all, I do want to say that the Historical Society is a county historical society. We don't just focus on Clarion Borough. We try to focus on all the townships within the county. And the house itself, just to give you a little history on the house, the house was constructed in 1850. So this year is our 150th anniversary of the home. It was constructed by a local attorney who came here to Clarion from Indiana, Pennsylvania. And he very quickly became a very well-respected attorney. His name was Thomas Sutton. Unfortunately, he only lived in the house for 3 years. He passed away in 1853. He was in his mid to late 40s, I believe. His wife remained here for a couple of years, but she later moved on. The house then went through several owners. Up until, well, sometime in the 1890s, probably a lot of people don't realize this, it was operated as Keller's Academy. A gentleman by the name of John Keller purchased the property, and he ran a school for young boys in the home.
Just in that house?
In that house. We think that was about 1895, 1898, somewhere around there. But the major changes that took place in the house occurred between 1909 and 1910. That is when John Dietz purchased the property. John Dietz was the local hardware store owner. He bought the property and he renovated the house to what, when you visit today, is what you would see as his renovations on the house. It's what some people might consider a typical late Victorian era home. I also want to mention John Dietz. As I said, he did own the local hardware store. That was located on Main Street here in Clarion. In fact, it was located in where Fowler's Furniture Storage is today. That's where his hardware store was. Renovations on the house were rather extensive for that time period. We have been working on developing a history of the house, trying to put together a history of the house, starting with its original owner, Thomas Sutton. We have been able to track down some information on him, but surprisingly there are no photographs or any information concerning the renovations of the house. To me, as a historian, I found that kind of interesting, because you would have thought that this home was going through a major transformation.
Right.
And you would have thought someone would have taken pictures of it, but we have not tracked down anything. We did find in our archives a journal that John Dietz kept, and it did list all the materials used in this renovation. So we do have that.
So you have that, but you don't have
no photographs.
no photographs. So if you have one out there,
yeah, somebody has one, we'd be interested. The unique features of the house, number one, for anyone that has not been in the home, all the woodwork is all the original woodwork, which is unique. A lot of times homes were painted, the woodwork was painted. Another unique feature of the house is it has an open back staircase going to the second floor. There's a painted hand stenciled ceiling in the what was intended to be the library of the home, which is unique, and that's original to the home. And of course all the lighting fixtures are original. And there's a lot of other little features of the house that you know, almost anyone, if they have any interest in architecture, and the history of the area and the history of that time period, you know, this is the place that they can come and see all that. And
so, you know, what are we, all right, you've described the house now, what are we actually going to see inside the house? Exhibits?
Well, we have...
Is this a museum, if you will?
Yes, we operate it as a museum, as a house museum. We have essentially 3 display rooms. We have a parlor, which is set up as a late Victorian parlor. We have a bedroom that is set up as a late Victorian bedroom. We also have a kitchen that is, the kitchen actually is a little bit earlier. The kitchen is set up to be a little bit more similar to an 1850s vintage kitchen. I think that probably stemmed from the fact that when the Historical Society purchased the property back in 1975-76, they wanted to have something in the home that people could see that was representative of when the original structure was built. So that's where they for some reason they chose the kitchen. And in the kitchen we do have several artifacts that date back as early as the 1830s, 40s, 50s. The other areas of the house, of course we have a small gift shop there, and we have an area that we use for special exhibits. Currently the exhibit we have in place focuses on the Civil War. This past month we did our we've been doing a Civil War encampment in the park every year. We did it the last weekend of August this year, and while setting up this display, it's kind of a little sideline concerning the exhibits we do. We wanted to focus on strictly Clarion County and artifacts that we might have in relationship to the Civil War. And while searching the archives and going through the collections, I came across this small tin box, and in that box were several Civil War letters from Colonel McKnight and Colonel Calvin Craig. We have since discovered that these are potentially very rare documents, and they were just tucked away there at the Historical Society. Probably no one had seen them in probably 30 years.
So you're even discovering stuff right in your own building.
Yeah, we're kind of still discovering things.
Actually, let me interrupt you right
Yes.
there. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this, you know, what people can see in the building, and maybe if we have some time, get into a little bit of the history of Clarion County. So we're going to take a break and be back on Feedback right after this.
Boyfriend wants to know if that girl will go out with him. Pass it down.
Hey, Grandma, ask the girl on the end if she wants to go out with this loner.
The young man wants to know if the girl over there is a donor.
Somebody wants to know if you're an organ and tissue donor.
Yes.
Hey, me too.
Are you a donor? Make sure your family knows your decision so there's no question later.
It may not look like it, but you're watching the future of the Earth pass by. Because many of these products are made from materials you've been recycling. But to keep recycling working, you need to buy products that say, made from recycled materials. For all those next in line, it would mean the world to them.
Out now, and I think I'm going to make the movie or write the book. It would be a great book to have, and you can call to get her book. You can also find it online. And I have a feeling I'm going to be rather opinionated. People I know, so let's ask them about scheduling. Why is it that students have such a problem here with?
Tune into Feedback with Mark Despotakis every Tuesday and Wednesday night, beginning at 7:30 p.m.
We're totally out of time. No time to talk to you. We'll see you tomorrow. Back on Feedback, talking about the history of Clarion County and talking about where you can go to find out about the history of the Clarion County Historical Society. Lindsley Dunn from the Historical Society is joining us. We were talking a little bit about the building and actually how you said you found some things, right. You found history in the building. Right. Tell us a little bit more about what we can see in the building. You were saying about the bedroom and the kitchen. What else is there of note? Well, we have a genealogy library. We attract a lot of visitors that come in working on their family history. And actually, through the generosity of Clarion University several years ago, the Historical Society Library was able to add a large number of volumes to to our library, which has helped us a great deal. Right. It generates a little income for the Historical Society, but because and for the simple fact that probably a lot of people don't realize is genealogy is the second largest hobby in the country. Really? We do get a large number of people that come to work just on their family history. We have histories on Clarion County. We have various county histories from many counties from throughout Pennsylvania, and that's one attraction to our library. Census indexes are also a big attraction, things of that type.
And, you know, we get people that come in. Some people come in, believe it or not, they spend an hour. I just had a lady that's visited us, and she's been in, well, for the last 4 days looking up information. Sometimes people find things, and sometimes they don't. It's just a matter of taking the time and doing that. So we do offer that. And, of course, we do have a collections and an archives. Our collections consist of approximately 5,000 artifacts. I would say probably 98% of it is Clarion County oriented in some way, shape, or form. And our archives is a project that we'd like to get started on in the near future to try to get things cataloged so we can better keep track of things. We have been working on a collections management project, so we are working on being able to track our collections to know exactly what we have. And we're doing this for several reasons. One is so the staff at the Historical Society knows what they have for special exhibits. For people that come in doing research, they can tell them what we have in the collections. And knowing what we have in the collections, of course, helps us develop exhibits.
Right.
And you know, things of that type.
So say I come down there and I want to go through the society. Am I going to be a self-guided tour? Is there someone going to be there to take me through and point out these things? Do you have a map?
It's pretty much self-guided tours.
Okay.
If anyone, generally, people are greeted at the door. Generally, if anyone express an interest for a guided tour, we will show them around and give them a little bit of history of the house itself. Tell them about some of the little idiosyncrasies about the house. And one of the interesting things was a couple of years ago we had a gentleman visit us that remembered being in the home back in the late teens, and he told us all these neat little stories about the house. So that was kind of interesting. It was a distant cousin of Mrs. Dietz, so he remembered. And that
so
was
still
kind of
always a learning experience for you down there working at the society.
Right.
So there's an admission fee, I presume, to go through that
admission
house.
Donation.
Donation, okay.
All we ask for is a donation. Yeah, but we do have a small gift shop there.
Okay.
I say it's a small gift shop. We have a good variety of publications and things of that type, souvenir type items and stuff like that.
So what are the regular hours, regular business hours?
Regular business hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4. Okay. If we're doing any special events, if there's any special events going on in the area, in Clarion particularly, we generally extend those hours to 6 o'clock in the evening.
So is that the way it's going to work for Autumn Leaf?
That's the way it'll work for Autumn Leaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, what if, let's say there's an organization out there who wants to come down, can they just call you and say...
Anyone that wants to come down and take a tour, just give us a call and we can set up a date and a time, and I mean, we're there, the Historical Society is there for the public. And,
right.
That's what we do.
How are you funded? Are you funded solely on donations, or are you getting money from the county, from the state?
We get funding from the Clarion County Commissioners through the county budget. We do get some funding, special grant funding through the state, the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission, and the balance is what we make up with donations, contributions, library use fees, gift shop sales, things of that type.
All right, so we're down to about a minute left here. Let's run down the times again and when people can come down.
We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4. We are open other times by appointments. Okay. If any groups want to come in, just give us a call and we'd be glad to.
Want to give that phone number out?
A phone number is 226-4450.
Okay, sounds good. Like I was telling you during the break, during Autumn Leaf, I'm definitely going to get down there and check this out when I have a free moment. Looks very interesting.
Invite everyone to come down and check us out, see what we're doing.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lindsley Dunn from the Clarion County Historical Society, for joining us. We'll be back after this on Feedback.
Hey kid, boyfriend wants wants to know if that girl will go out with him, pass it down.
Hey, Grandma, ask the girl on the end if she wants to go out with this loner.
The young man wants to know if the girl over there is a donor.
Somebody wants to know if you're an organ and tissue donor.
Yes.
Hey, me too.
Are you a donor? Make sure your family knows your decision so there's no question later.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by Fox's Pizza Den. Fox's Pizza Den is located on Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Phone 226-5555.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Carpet Barn. The Carpet Barn is located at 470 South 5th Avenue in Clarion. The Carpet Barn is open Monday through Saturday for all your carpet needs. So call the Carpet Barn, 226-7332.
Standing out from the crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe and accessory department, you're surely to find that special touch to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall, just off Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from noon till 5.
And welcome back to Feedback. Coming up on tomorrow night's program, you may have read about it in the Clarion Call last Thursday. There were some students who went on some mission trips around the world. So we're going to be meeting with them tomorrow's show about their experiences, what that involved, how they get into that. That's coming up tomorrow. Next Tuesday night on the show, next Tuesday is Borough Council. Next Wednesday night, we are speaking with Ann Hampton Calloway, Tony Award nominee for Swing, the Broadway musical. She will be joining us via phone. We also may be able to see some clips from her performance in Swing. So that's what's coming up next week. The news comes after this program, but immediately following us here in just a couple seconds, you're going to see kind of a promotion for us, kind of what TV5 does. About 2.5 minutes of what we are at TV5. We just want to show you a little bit of what we do. So that's coming up right after Feedback, followed by TV5 News. Stay with us for that, and then you can go watch the Olympics at 8:30 if you really want to. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Clarion University Broadcasting serves as an educational tool and news resource for Clarion University and the surrounding community. Broadcasting everything from Borough Council meetings live to twice-weekly newscasts, TV5 is an institution valued by both students and the community as a whole. Students from Clarion University's Communication Department are the most involved in TV5, but students from all majors are welcome to participate. Each and every TV5 production is student-produced, directed, and hosted. There's no better training than on the job like this. TV5 News provides local news coverage as reported by Clarion University students.
Good evening, I'm Christy Herman. And I'm Carolyn Kelly. We begin our primary 2000 coverage tonight with a look at voting locally.
Student reporters, anchors, and producers create a newscast 2 nights a week that reflects the news of the day in Clarion. Feedback.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. Joining us in this segment is your United States Representative, John Peterson.
Is TV5's public affairs and interview program. Topics range from discussing local and national politics to how to adopt a pet from the local Humane Society. Broadcasting 2 nights a week, the show strives to inform, educate, and entertain the viewers. TV5 also broadcasts Clarion Borough Council live each month. The meeting takes place at the Clarion Free Library, and TV5 students air the program from our mobile production trailer. Sports are also a large part of the TV5 identity. Local sports, such as Clarion Area High School football and Clarion University athletics, are an integral part of our newscasts. But they are also featured during the TV5 programming day. You can catch sporting events in their entirety many times during the semester. TV5 also provides you with the latest news from Pennsylvania's state government. Broadcasting such shows as Focus on Pennsylvania and Capitol Conversations, viewers get to see what their state representatives are up to in Harrisburg. TV5 has been Clarion's very own for over 20 years and will continue to be an information source for students.
New charges surround a Clarion County prisoner. Good evening, I'm Carrie LaPoo.
And I'm Cynthia Walker.
And members of the community in the new millennium.